What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sitting on my back deck because I want to do something new today. I want to do a story time. And I picked a very infamous story that happened in my childhood that I want to talk about. I'm going to be talking about the time that I did a hit and run on a electric dirt bike. So when I was a kid, I had this blue Razor dirt bike, which looks like this. I'm using my top-notch editing skills to put it on the screen. Hopefully you can see it. And my stepbrother had one that looked exactly like it, except it was yellow. So just picture a yellow one. You know what? Here, boom, there's the yellow one. So now you know what the dirt bikes look like. So I was riding with my stepbrother, and we rode all the time. This was at my dad's house. My dad lived in this neighborhood that was kind of like a big giant circle. So like there was the lower area, then the upper area, and it was literally like a giant circle like that. And we would always ride around, and people would yell at us and be like, "Hey, get off the road," and stuff like that. And we'd always race around. This one day, we were riding on a street that was behind my dad's house. And we were riding like any normal day, and there was a woman cutting the grass with a push mower. You know what? Screw it. Boom. That's the exact push mower that she was using. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember what it looked like. It's irrelevant. But there was this woman. She was like middle-aged, and she had like a tank top on, and she had like tattoos on her arms, and she looked pretty. She was a pretty cool looking woman, and I was just kind of looking, it was like, damn, that is a badass woman. And like I was just staring at her. I don't know why I was staring at her. I think I was just trying to show off. I think I was just trying to show off because I was on a dirt bike. It wasn't even a cool dirt bike. It was a freaking electric dirt bike. But I was staring at her for whatever reason. I have no idea. I think it was just because she was staring at me, and I wasn't looking where I was going, and I swerved and hit a parked car that was on the street, and I was hanging off the dirt bike like Superman. I was holding the handlebars, and like I was hanging off, and my feet were dragging against the road. I still had the throttle all the way down, and I was moving, and my stepbrother was in front of me. He was looking back, and I ended up getting back onto the dirt bike, and we sped off, and I had this giant cheeky smile on my face from ear to ear because I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And we just kept riding around in silence until we were at like the entrance to the street, and we looked, and we saw like the woman and like I guess her husband or whoever, and the police might have been there. I don't think the police were there. I think it was just people looking at the car. It was over a decade ago, so I don't really remember exactly what happened, but the woman saw, and she pointed at us, so we turned around and we were riding. And like I said earlier, the neighborhood is a huge circle. So we were going that way. There was a car coming this way. I'm pretty sure it was the same exact car that I hit. It was coming this way, and we stopped. And it was like it was a standoff like out of one of those Western movies. And this guy got out of the car. He walked up to us like that. He was like, "Got something to say?" And under my breath, I went, "Hi." And he kind of just started yelling at us a little bit. And he was like, he asked where I lived. He asked where we lived. And I was doing all the talking. I have no idea what I said. And my stepbrother was just staying completely silent. But I almost made the mistake of telling him where I lived. I like pointed, and I was like, "That way." And he was like, "What if I show up to your house and tell your parents? What would they have to say?" And like shortly after that, he left. I don't really remember exactly what happened, but after after that happened, we just kind of played it off like nothing happened. We didn't tell anyone. We kept riding around. My brother actually stopped. He was too scared to ride around, and but I kept riding around. I didn't care. And then Halloween came, and I remember going to that exact house for candy, and I put my mask over my face. I was dressed as an alien. I actually still have the mask upstairs. I was dressed as an alien, so I put my mask on so like the people that lived there wouldn't recognize me and be like, "Hey, that's that jackass that ran into the car on a dirt bike." But like I don't remember how much time went by, but for some reason my dumbass 9-year-old, however old I was, brain decided to write the entire situation down on my school planner, on the back of my school planner. And one day I was at my grandmother's house doing homework, and my dad, for some reason, like I guess he noticed the writing or something. My neighbors are outside. But he noticed the writing, and he flipped it over and he read the whole thing, and I was just staring at him the whole time, and he started questioning me. He was like, "You hit somebody's car with the dirt bike?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I don't really think the damage was that bad. Honestly, I have no fucking idea. It probably was pretty bad. I was going like 10, maybe 12 miles per hour. So it was probably pretty bad. I was like, "Yo, it was just a tiny scratch." And he was like, "A tiny scratch? You know how bad a tiny scratch is, like, for my car or whatever?" Because like my dad is a car enthusiast, and like he used to have a bunch of sports cars and stuff. But he was like, what if that guy is like me and he like really cares about his car and stuff? So he told my mom, and then I was grounded. And I was grounded for like a month. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't use like my tablet or whatever the hell I had back then. But yeah, this is a PSA to don't stare at people while you're riding a motorcycle. Don't stare at people in general. It's just kind of rude. You know, years later, I don't like being stared at. I think it's really weird, and I get very uncomfortable. Sometimes I even get a little annoyed when I get stared at. Um, don't stare at people when you're operating a vehicle, especially a Razor electric dirt bike. If you forgot what it looks like, boom, there it is. That's the dirt bike. That's the weapon I use to cause the destruction. But honestly, I'm not proud of that. It was a really stupid thing that happened, but it happened a really long time ago. It was over a decade ago now. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share that story because I was kind of bored, had nothing else to do. But I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you want me to do more story times, let me know, because I definitely will. I have a lot of stories to tell, a lot of stupid ones that are similar to this. But yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.